Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Oh, it's been a 24 hours. Let me tell you, it has been a 24 hours. A lot of people still talking about Jay Briscoe. There has been a few updates. Not great ones, unfortunately. They gave updates as far as who was all in the car. So just a few things before we get into tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. And folks, don't forget, most important, smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications so that you know when I go live and you know when more of my content hits your screen. So I've seen some updates from people sharing stuff about Jay's family because we come to find that when the accident happened, it wasn't just Jay. His daughters were in the back seat, and one had, I want to say, back surgery today. And I can speak from personal experience. Back surgery is no fun. And I can't even imagine what kind of damage was done. Apparently the other daughter who was in the back seat is also she's also in the hospital, but she's unstable. But she got banged up pretty bad. Beyond that, I haven't heard any other details. So please keep that family in your prayers, thoughts and prayers, going forward. And I'll try to update you guys when I hear more news. Praying it's positive news, because this family doesn't need any more bad news right now. Seriously. I also unfortunately heard that when Jay was driving, he did not have his seatbelt on. And now I'm not going to sit there and harp on people that don't wear their seatbelts, but man, he certainly would have been banged up, but it could have saved his life. It could have. So still, just keep that family in your thoughts and prayers. They're going through plenty right now. I can't even begin to imagine. I really can't. Between the family, Mark, everyone, the whole family's just got to be going through so much right now. I have not heard anything yet about a GoFundMe. But if I do hear about one, me and the crew may do a special show to raise money for the Briscoe family. So, but that'll that stuff takes time to plan, and as we learn more, we'll maybe do something for them. Bellsboy here says apparently Jay was almost home when he crashed. They were coming home from his daughter's cheerleading practice. Oh man, that is one thing from all the stuff I've heard from friends / people in the industry. the Briscoes. Oh, and when I say Briscoe, it's like you can't talk about just Jay. You got to talk about Mark in the same sentence because they're two peas in a pod. Wherever you saw Jay, you saw Mark. They always talked about their families with the people they worked with. How's your family doing and such. Um, Always known as a great family man. There is a video that is going viral again of Jay doing a cheerleading routine with his daughter, and it's the cutest thing. Jay's got a big old bow in his crazy hair, and he's doing all the moves with his daughter. If that don't tell you what kind of parent he is, it's oh man, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. It's man, the poor family is just rocked, man. It's horrible. Um, so we're gonna switch gears now, and we're gonna talk about tonight's show. We just bring up the list of results here. Give me a moment. And I before we get into this, I gotta say I was insanely impressed with this show. Now I'm sure some people are complaining because they didn't do like a full tribute to Jay Briscoe on this show. I get that. But you got to remember what TK's got to deal with TNT. They are the ones. Remember, TNT is not, they are the ones, or TBS, excuse me. Well, the company as a whole, they did not want the Briscoes on TV. So I get it. It sucks. Please don't blame TK. TK's got his hands full right now dealing with all this stuff, I'm sure. I'm pretty. I'd have to assume it was he or someone in upper management supplied all the armbands to the crew. They were all wearing armbands for Jay during the matches. If you saw, I think that's incredible. It was mentioned. It was mentioned several times from Excalibur in the commentary. So I don't want you to feel like they completely ignored it. He did mention it several times throughout the show. I counted at least 3 or 4. And I know I missed a couple minutes here and there, so maybe they did talked about it a little more between a segment that I missed. So I'm not going to sit there and say they didn't do absolutely anything. I heard plenty of times they talked about it. Now, an update on that, I heard that Toni put on Twitter. Give me a second to find this. Because I know I like this and I know I shared it. Oh, one quick thing. This is cool. So if you go to AEW Music on Twitter, it said for a limited time, please enjoy a free download of Reach for the Sky Boy, the official ROH theme of the Briscoes in memory of hashtag Jay Briscoe, rest in peace. So that post is on there. I did share it myself. Tony Khan put a post out saying that they are doing a tribute and it will be free on the Honor Club on their subscription page, but he said free is free. It's not behind a paywall. and said we'll post the tribute show in its entirety on the ROH YouTube as well. Also free to everyone, as tonight this crew will come together to shoot a special Ring of Honor event in honor of the late great Jay Briscoe. So there's proof right there that when TK says he's doing something, he's doing something. I firmly believe that. I'm not going to tell you that he's the greatest guy on the planet, but I believe him when he says he's going to do something for Jay Briscoe. So keep an eye on the Ring of Honor YouTube for that, or if you are on the Honor Club. I haven't subscribed yet, but we'll see. You know, that's still a brand that's, you know, I'm sure TK would love to get it on TV, but that's just one of those things that we are coming out of the pandemic, and not everybody is paying big bucks now for all different wrestling products. So he's got kind of an uphill battle there, unfortunately. But there is an incredible catalog. And let me tell you, some of the clips I saw today of the Briscoes wrestling, you know, this team or that team, or tributes. People in the industry sharing clips of what they've done with the Briscoes, or saying that they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the Briscoes. Guys like Sami Zayn. Oh, excuse me. So yeah. So keep an eye out for that. Bill's Bill's boy. Plus, to get off topic a bit, TK is on a high because his Jaguars beat the Chargers over the weekend. Well, congratulations. That's got to be a playoff win there. Congrats to them. Congrats. All right, let's talk about some Dynamite tonight. First and foremost, I have to say that this episode was incredible. I'm not going to sit there and say it's the best episode of all time, but this year, 2023, visibly has shown signs that this company is changing. They are starting to find new people on the roster to put in front of the camera and have them rise above their enemies, their rivalries, their rivals, whatever you want to call it. And we saw that a lot on this episode tonight, and it was so refreshing. I don't know if it was just planned or a last minute thing, but the whole show showed signs of growth. And it's not the kind of growth you see like overnight, like, oh my God, someone showed up, boom, you know? And it's not the kind of growth you're going to see. How do I say this? It's not the kind of growth that you're going to see in, where you're going to see, a million more viewers overnight. No, but, and I've said this since day one, you can have your Chris Jerichos, you can have your Moxleys, you can have your Bryan Danielsons. You could, this Saraya, you can have those stars on your show to help, boost ratings or to garner viewership, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't build homegrown talent, your brand's going to fail. And this brand of AEW is definitely showing signs of growth. I'll put it this way: if Vinnie Mac was in charge of this show, let's just say this particular episode, you'd see a lot of different things happening, and it would not vibe well with the fans. So let's get into this. Number one, I loved the fact that I mixed up the order here. I'm looking at my results in the description here. I'll fix that later. So it started out with a lot of fun. It was Orange Cassidy, joined by his crew in the audience later. We'll get to that. Defeating Jay Lethal for the AEW All Atlantic Championship. And you know that these fans, number one, the California fans have been hot. They've been great. They're riding on the emotions of probably hearing about Jay Briscoe. So you know they're going to bring all this pent up emotion to the show. And let me tell you, Fresno brought it tonight. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Orange Cassidy beating Jay Lethal. And it had a fair amount of, not a ton of comedy, but a fair amount of comedy that maybe the audience didn't see, but we on TV saw, because they kept sticking the camera in the face of Sanjay, trying to hold back Satnam Singh, or trying to hold back Jeff Jarrett with his guitar. And and that was hearing Sanjay Dutt. Like the camera was just there, just right, so that you could hear Sanjay Dutt squeaking, no, it's that. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to get fired. He just kept repeating that, and it was hilarious. And then they'd go back to the ring, and you'd see the action. So sometimes a little comedic. You know, Orange Cassidy. And that's the great thing about Orange Cassidy. You get that mix of a little ha-ha in your wrestling, and it's healthy to have that. You can't have it all the time. But when you have that, it's, you can't be up here all the time. You gotta let the audience breathe. Give them some funny stuff. Give them some action. Give them a little bit of everything. And that's one thing this brand does, and that's healthy for wrestling. I think it can't be all table spots and thumbtacks. And blood flying everywhere. There's fans, of course, that like that. Whatever, to each their own. I like a healthy mix. This brand, including Impact Wrestling, has certainly been bringing that lately. Right, Oreo? Oreo's sitting on top of my tower here, giving me kisses. Yes, I love you too. You gonna hang out with me? Okay, I'll take that as a yes for now. So, great match. Orange Cassidy retains. Some good wrestling back and forth, though. Finishes with the orange punch. And I've been up and down on the whole Orange Cassidy train. Sometimes I love him. Sometimes it's like, all right, hang back a little bit. You can't have Orange Cassidy all the time. But I hear oranges are good for your health. In fact, there's some in the other room. I need to start eating them. So, but and I love the fact that I know some people don't like Jeff Jarrett, or the fact that he's with Jay Lethal and or Sanjay Dutt. I've heard a lot of people call him Team TNA. I love it because these guys all know each other very well from working with each other for God knows how many years back in the day. And then you've got the giant Satnam Singh, who's just, ready to do something big or whatever. He's there. He's kind of like the Kevin Nash of the group. He's just doing this the whole time, just waiting for the word to go get him. So I like it. It's not my favorite thing, but I love me some Jeff Jarrett. So slap nuts. All right. So then we got Top Flight, Dante Martin and Darius Martin defeating the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. What an upset. And it was such a good match. You guys know me. I love the Young Bucks. They're one of my favorite tag teams around right now. But I love Top Flight, and to see them both healthy and together and knocking it out of the park, this is what I was talking about. When you're building your brand, you have to have homegrown talents. Top Flight is one of those. And don't get me wrong, I love what they were doing with Dante Martin. He's had a great singles run over the course of the pandemic and whatnot while he was waiting for his brother to I almost said retire. No, wrong R word. Recover. There we go. Recover. Oh God. So yeah, Courtney here says Top Flight is gonna do big things throughout this year. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that, just given that, Dante and Darius stay healthy. Stay healthy. That's the key thing, And but the Young Bucks, it also shows how good the Young Bucks are, that they're willing to work with these young guys and put them over. That's healthy because the Young Bucks, they're still champs right now. They don't have to do that. They can just win, and go cash their paychecks and put it in their, pull a Vinnie Mac move, put it in their EVP contract. We win, and that's it. No, they're losing to an up and coming team here. What is this going to mean for them? I don't know. Of course, Kenny Omega and Young Bucks are going to have opponents lined up for those trios titles. Does this mean that Top Flight is going to find another member to join them and really get this feud going? Someone to rise up and face Kenny Omega and really shake things up, and that's tough because right now Kenny Omega, top of his game, came back stronger than ever. If you saw him, if you didn't see his match at Wrestle Kingdom, you're missing out. Seriously. It is candidate for match of the year. Just a couple days into the new year. It's ridiculous. His match against Will Ospreay. Sorry. It was just a ridiculously amazing match. So, Bell's Boy says, I think Paige provided a clue during his interview. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that was referring to the Young Bucks or possibly the Dark Order, because right now the Dark Order needs as much light on them as possible, so to speak, because there are not many members left. They need something. So, great high flying action. If you're a fan of it, man, Top Flight and Young Bucks is the shit. That's amazing. Jake Hager losing to Ricky Starks. Here is another example right here. I could repeat it line for line, but I'm not going to, because this is a singles match, of course. Now, I missed some of this match, but I saw some of the important parts. Ricky Starks beating Jake. Ricky Starks is another one of those guys who he's had some ups and downs since coming in during the pandemic. But he, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But he's got this aura around him. He's got this confidence, and it's not. Some people are just playing cocky, and that's like guys like MJF and such. But they're good at portraying that. Ricky is something different, though. He's a step above that in a good way. In a good way. So him beating, we'll just call Jake Hager, for lack of better words in this case, he's an MMA giant. He's a big boy. He's undefeated at MMA. From what I've heard, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but I've seen some of it. And he doesn't wrestle a lot. I'd love to see him wrestle more because he's damn good. I think people sometimes forget how good Jake is. But Ricky Starks beating a veteran like Jake is another big upset. It's the second big upset of this episode. But I think there's another one later. I'll let you guys judge if you think it's an upset or not. Oreo loves herself some Ricky Starks. She just jumped back on top of the tower here because she loves. You love Ricky? Oh, she's just speechless. She can't. Oh, she's just giving me all these kisses because she just loves herself some Ricky Starks. She's actually quite adorable right now because the blue light from the lights is shining on her. So she looks like she's white, black, and blue. It's no, I didn't paint her. It's all the lights. So, I saw that on BTE. I don't know what to think about that. If you guys watch BTE, Johnny Dark Order, or whatever you want to call him, one of my favorites, the former John Morrison, was on BTE on Monday and hanging with the Dark Order. So I don't know what that means. Is he just hanging out and saying hi to people, or is he gonna finally become elite? We'll have to wait and see. I'll watch him wherever he goes. I don't care. He's one of my favorites. So we'll see. Yes, Max got censored. He said probably something pertaining to bullshit. Love me some Max Caster, though. Platinum Max Caster. I think of the Kid Rock lyric. I'm going platinum. All right. What's next here? So Ricky beat Jake. Quite the upset. Bryan Danielson defeating Bandido. This talk about a dream match. Man, God bless Bryan Danielson. We are getting some dream matches out of him. I was looking forward to Kashida last week. I did not know that was going to turn into what turned out to be a dream match. It was like, and it's all subjective. You can't call that a dream match. I can call whatever I want. It's my opinion. If you don't think it's a dream match, whatever, it's fine. But back to Bandido. My goodness, Bandido just shined I mean, this former Ring of Honor world champion, and he's done so much more besides that I don't know off the top of my head. But this kid, jeez Louise. Um, and then the promo leading up to it, Bryan Danielson even said, he's like, I've been watching this guy. And he's like, oh, that is a guy I would love to wrestle. And he finally got the chance to. And I don't know about you, but this almost did not go Bryan Danielson's way. I mean, there was plenty of close calls in this one. This was also a huge challenge for Bandido because Bandido was, or I should say, is. I can't say, he's he's done. No, I'm kidding. Bandido is one of the best high flyers / luchadors in the biz right now, and he. Bell's boy, I love you, man. Bandido can have a good match with a phone book and it'll shine. And then he adds, God, I'm old when I say phone book. Yes. I know plenty of people in the chat going, Googling phone book, what's a phone book? What's a receiver? What? Oh, yeah, it sucks getting old. But it's funny to look at younger people and go, huh? What's a CD? What's a cassette tape? All right, I'll cut that off there because I can go on and on and on. Just an old school bone. Just confusing them kids. All right. So, where was I? Ah, yes. Bryan Danielson, Bandido. Bandido countering so many of Bryan Danielson's I guess what you call, Greco-Roman wrestling skills, the ground-based stuff that Bryan is oh so good at. And it just proved how good Bandido is. Like, I've seen Bandido. I'm not going to sit there and tell you I've seen all of his matches, but I've seen enough matches of Bandido's that's like he's known as a pretty well-rounded high flyer luchador. But to see him go move for move with Danielson, oh my God. I know. Look, did you hear Oreo? She's like, right. Courtney says she still has cassette tapes. Okay. What's that? I said, so does your wife. Yeah, so does my wife. Yes. Say hello to Mrs. Bone. She's just off camera here watching some TV. So yeah, just another amazing match. I mean, each of these matches we got tonight, we haven't gotten to the main event yet. My goodness. Each of these matches bringing something a little different, tag team stuff. You got this competition where Bryan Danielson's got to win or he can't wrestle MJF in a few weeks at the pay-per-view. Just all sorts of things going on. Now we got Toni Storm with Saraya out there versus Willow Nightingale. Now she beats Willow, but there has been some viral stuff going on, and I need to go back and look at this because apparently this match happened Rampage, and not everybody and their uncle watches Rampage, but Rampage really does deserve to get watched more. They have sometimes it's like, all right, I'm gonna skip this one. I don't need to see these matches. But sometimes you get matches like there uh was it last Friday? I think. It was Anna Jay and Ty Mello against Willow, Nightingale, and Ruby Soho. And this one just got ridiculously bloody. It was like, whoa, what happened? Um, so the pictures I've seen of Ruby is completely, and I mean completely unrecognizable by the end of the match. It's like, my goodness. Um, it's crazy. Courtney says hi. Hello. Mrs. Bone says hello. So yeah, that's one I'm gonna watch back because that is kind of planting the seeds for what's going on. Willow, Nightingale, and Ruby, I guess, are starting to gain some momentum here and popularity, whatever. And it's great to see. It's great to see because this woman's division has had so much bad luck over the years, and unfortunately not the greatest. Like, it's all subjective, I get that, but I think a lot of people would say not the greatest booking. But there are stars that do shine. There are matches that have been practically match of the year candidates that had people talking forever, still talking about them. But now you've got people coming in like Willow Nightingale. Not a lot of people know about Willow Nightingale. I've been a fan of Willow Nightingale since the first season of WoW, which was, oh my God, like a handful of years ago now. And she was called something else on the show. It was like eye candy or something like that. And that's where I became a fan of hers. And to see her on this level and get to shine on AEW television is great. It's great. And that's one thing that this brand needs to do is show more of their women's roster. And at least they're consistent. They may not show a ton of them, but they're consistent. And whoever they don't show, they put on the dark and the elevation and whatever. So, but there's something going on here with Saraya, and she's like the guiding force in starting to turn Toni Storm. Toni Storm was insanely popular, but there's something rotten in Denmark, as they say. So they're turning Saraya and Toni heel. Toni Storm beats Willow Nightingale. And Hikaru Shida is kind of stuck in the middle of this, not really knowing what to do, but she knows what she wants to do, but she's still, she's not pulling the trigger yet. Like, she came out there to back up Saraya and Toni Storm, but she doesn't like their actions. So she kind of just stayed out of it, but she was there. And Hikaru Shida is the kind of gal who is going to, how do I say this? Sides are being picked here. People are taking sides. And it's simple. There's a side for good. There's a side for evil. So there's new rivalries coming up here, and that's very healthy. So, um, and if it takes Saraya leading the cause to um, to do that, then hey, whatever. Put her on TV all the time and have her just doing diabolical stuff in the women's division. That way, when the pay per view comes around, you can have the babyface go over, and it'll just you can make some great storytelling out of it. And it'll also, at the same time, while you're taking Saraya and you're making her a heel, you have the responsibility. Here, I'm sounding like I'm trying to run the company, but it's it's my opinion. And it's already happening. It's organic, though. It's organic. That's the best thing about this. Wrestlers like Jamie Hayter, especially the night she became champion, like the crowd was so behind her. It even confused me as a fan. Like, wow, these fans are just cheering. Like they want her to win. And when she did, the place exploded. So you got that level of pardon me, you got that level of fan response behind the women's champ, but now you got her bestie right next to her, Britt Baker. And she is such a polarizing figure that it's easy to look at her, depending on her actions, of course, depending on her actions, but she could be the biggest babyface in the company. And it won't take much more because all you got to do is have her confront Saraya again, and the sides will switch. It'll be like, hey, wait, didn't we just see this? But now it's a different story. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it's a stroke of genius if you see what's happening here. So it's great to see some different things happening in the women's division. So, and then last but certainly not least, we got Darby Allin with Sting out there defending his AEW TNT championship against Kushida. Now, Kushida brings out some LA Dojo New Japan guys, but now from what I've heard, now I might be wrong because you hear things, you read things, you see things. I could have sworn I heard something about Kevin Knight, or maybe it was someone else, was a free agent. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I read something else. But nonetheless, he came out, and I'm not sure who the other gentleman was. He had some initials. They were calling him DXC or something, DCX, G, something like that. D something. They were backing Kushida. And they actually did something. If you missed it, they did something a little heelish. They didn't get involved, but they were sitting, leaning on the apron, not on, like standing on the apron, but they were at ringside, and they were right next to Sting, and they're talking to him, and Sting was pretty much ignoring him the whole time because he's focused. He's laser focused on Darby, trying to represent him and keep his confidence going because, man, Kushida messed up Darby. And Kevin Knight was, whipping the rally towel or whatever you want to call it. And he had the towel, and he tosses it to Sting. And Sting is holding it, and he looks at Darby, and Darby looks like he's really, really struggling because Kushida and Darby told such an amazing story in that ring, and it all had to do with that left arm. Man, Kushida kicked the shit out of that arm. It was. Please don't think me of sick of saying this, but it was beautiful. It was. I mean, he worked Darby's arm so much, you would have thought the damn thing would have just popped right off. Just crazy. Darby Allin is tough. As JR says, Darby Allin's tougher than a $2 steak. It's also tougher than a $1 steak. And I've seen some $1 steaks. Don't get me started. Let me tell you something. But Sting, before we get back to the match, Sting takes this towel and he like dabs his makeup lightly. You know, he doesn't want to like smear his look, but he dabs his face and then tosses it into the crowd. And the crowd right there is like, you know, they're like, yay, Sting didn't, give in. And he's not throwing in the towel for Darby because we want Darby Allin to fight with everything he's got and defend this title. What an amazing match. Kushida, I mean, we've seen him do some amazing things, of course, on New Japan. He came from New Japan. He did some fun stuff in NXT while he was there, but really never got the shine he should have, I don't think. Granted, I didn't watch a lot of it at the time, but from what I heard, he really didn't do much. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. And then coming to Impact Wrestling, and I was there in Chicago when he came in and was doing stuff with the Motor City Machine Guns. Oh, such good memories. Such good memories. And Kushida's that guy where it's like, hey, it just, to me, depending on who you are, of course, man, it just builds your worth. If you're doing New Japan stuff and you're doing some Impact tapings, and then you can just float over to AEW and work but I'll call it, what the hell? I'll call it a dream match because that's how damn good this match was. Kushida just kicked the crap out of Darby, but Darby pulled through in the end. Bell's Boy here. Thank you. So so I was right. So Kevin Knight and DKZ. Okay, so I'm not familiar with DKZ. I'm guessing I need to watch New Japan Strong a little more. Although I heard that Strong is getting discontinued because we're kind of done with the pandemic. But I guess they're going to rework the Strong brand, which is good because like if you want that presence in the US, you got to keep that going. You got to keep those shows going. You got to, that's what you got to do. So yeah, it was just a great show all around. Darby Allin beats Kushida. A lot of respect shown in the end. And then right as they were going off the air, Excalibur mentions Jay Briscoe's family, saying, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And that's how the show ended, which was proper. It's like if you can't do a big if you can't do a big visual tribute, okay. But TK knows how important it is. So, like I said, if you're coming in late and you didn't see the tweet, if you got the Honor Club, or if you are also subscribed to the YouTube channel for Ring of Honor, it might be on AEW too. I don't know, but definitely on the Ring of Honor. They are putting a tribute together there. And I can't wait to see it. I trust that they're going to put something phenomenal together because, I mean, you have, 20 years worth of content from these boys, my God, we may see the greatest tribute to a professional wrestler ever. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be hard to watch, but it's going to be full of love for a tag team that is sadly over. And I just pray in the long run that the family comes out of this all right, and that Mark can still perform in the ring, because, man, I love me some Froggy Briscoe. He's so much fun to watch. I also pray he makes it to AEW too. He deserves it. He deserves that. It's just right, that he has, and I don't want to get it. I didn't want to get into this, but he has never complained, and he has never gotten nasty online or nothing regarding the controversy with his brother, which in my personal opinion, it was dealt with years ago, never should have resurfaced, but some people can't let stuff go. And that's just the way the world is sometimes, unfortunately. Mark Briscoe deserves to shine, and I'm praying he'll be back. I know he'll be back. I'm sure he will be, and he will be given his chance to shine on the other end of this. It's going to take time, though. This family has to heal. They're going through a lot right now. So, on that note, this is where we're going to end this. Look at that. Kept it under an hour. Phenomenal. So, hug your loved ones, folks. That's one thing we always learn from moments like this, sadly. Hug your loved ones. And yeah, just hug your loved ones. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me. You can find me tomorrow night over on that other little podcast called Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans. And we'll probably, I haven't talked to the crew much other than just a brief mentioning of Jay Briscoe passing away, sadly. But I'm sure we'll talk about it more on tomorrow's show. I'm sure tomorrow's show will be dedicated to him as well. So join us for that over on Total Nonstop Impact channel, live, following Impact Wrestling. And thanks for watching tonight. On your way out, you know what to do. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications. Why? So that you know when more of my content hits your screen. Good night, folks. Take care. Much love. See you.